Hello and welcome to Illuminations with Tiina and Fee, for you who desires a life of joy. I'm Tiina.
I'm Fee.
So, Nuggets episode for our Winter Blues season or series. We haven't really decided if we're going to call it season or series, but let's see how it kind of happens. So, yeah, Nuggets time for Winter Blues. Fee, what's your first nugget?
So, I would recommend on soundstrue.com an interview between Tammy and Michael Singer called Living from a Place of Surrender. It is really powerful in many ways, but at the end he specifically talks about things like the weather, and it was just so like an eye-opener for me. I was like, oh my goodness. And he really goes through processes that we shared about letting go, witness position, witness conscious, observing, letting go, and then telling the story you want to tell. And he talks about being in your higher self. So it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. About an hour.
Okay, great. I'll check that one out. They're usually good ones, the Sounds True podcasts.
It's part of the Insights from the Edge series. So if you go onto Sounds True, Insights from the Edge, Michael Singer, Living in a Place of Surrender.
Yeah.
And it was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. We'll put the link up so everybody can find that.
Thank you.
Excellent. So my nugget is actually just do it yourself kind of thing, DIY. And it's really about reflecting inwards and getting clear on, do I actually have the winter blues? Being honest with yourself. Is this about the winter blues? Is this something really happening inside my body? Or is this about outside influences because I should feel like this? And if you then come to the conclusion that, yes, it is the winter blues. Sorry, something just popped up on my screen. If it is the winter blues, what about it? What about the season, the changing of the season or the season is making me feel like this? Like, be very specific. Is it the lack of light? Is it that it's colder? Is it something else? And also look at from 1 to 10. Where are you on that scale? 10, you're absolutely, this is not winter blues anymore. You're full on depressed. Your life is not functioning anymore. That's 10. 1 is, well, actually, there's nothing to talk about. Where are you on that scale? And if you're 6, 7 and upwards, go and get help. Go and talk to somebody and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling when the autumn and winter months, I need some help. What can I do? So just explore it with curiosity and honesty, with yourself. That's my first nugget. Over to you.
Lovely. Love that. So the second nugget is from this little book, Finding the Song That Makes Your Heart Sing, Redefining Abundant Living by Tiina and Fifi. And in here, there's a fantastic, on page 45, there's a really brilliant process that is quite a led-through process about exploring limiting beliefs. In here, we put the example of money, but you could put winter blues in place of money and just work through the whole of that part of that chapter, looking at, okay, if winter blues is in the middle, follow the brainstorm, follow the whole idea about internal dialogue and physiology, and just keep putting winter blues in. It's brilliant. I've applied it in all kinds of ways, and it's really enlightening. And you end up with an empowering thought belief at the end. So it's
brilliant. Thank you. My other nugget was kind of following on from my first one. Maybe you realize that, I'm getting a bit of winter blues. Maybe I'm on a 3, 4, 5, maybe. Figure out ways to tackle it yourself. I think I mentioned a few things in the second episode of this series of lighting candles, arts and crafts, party, kind of, and an attitude change. We talked very much about, changing perspectives and changing attitudes. And if you don't have ways, to kind of figure out what am I going to do, there's lots and lots of books that you can get on self-care, to get ideas for self-care. There's one by Hannah Brain, who's been one of our guests in Illuminations, How to Turn Self-Care into a Way of Life. Lots of tips in there. There's a book, The Self-Care Solution. This is aimed at mothers particularly, but I think that there's great kind of ways to find out what to do about self-care. On that one, that's by Julie Burton. Tons of books out there, tons of talks out there, you know, just get ideas in, talk with your friends. What do you do? How do you kind of tackle this?
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting because obviously we talk a lot about thought change, but obviously there is the whole, you know, CBT behavior change model, and that's what you're kind of saying is just do it, just be it. You don't, if this bit you can't get your head around, just kind of go and be it, you know, kind of do stuff as opposed to just not do stuff that keeps you in a place of winter blues.
Yeah,
that's really helpful.
Or even just be, you know, whatever that self-care is. And self-care doesn't always have to mean, I think often people think, oh, I don't have time for self-care. Well, self-care can be 5-10 minutes. You know, it doesn't have to be 5 hours. You know, so just kind of find those ways of making you feel wonderful. Is that it? Are we done?
That's it. We're done.
That was quick. That was quick. Fantastic. So thank you again for watching. If those nuggets might be really useful for somebody else, just share this episode and send it to them. Let us know your thoughts. And we will see you next time for a new series or a new season. That's something else. Thank you so much, Fee.
Thank you, Tiina.
Bye.
Bye.